Girls, what's just happened?
So, there's an ice cream van there selling just 2 ice creams with 2 chewing gums in it.
Yeah.
For bloody £9 for 2 of them.
£9 for 2?
Yeah, £9. That is going to get nowhere. One that comes on my street is either £1 a p or £2. That is going to get nowhere with that.
No, he ain't, is it?
No, he ain't.
That's well bad, isn't
Yeah, you
it?
should know. And he only does bloody card. Stood there with my cash. Bloody hell.
That's well bad, isn't it?
Bloody well bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, bet he can hear me.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy, and I'm here with a special guest, Skrapp Jaw from Roma Nation every Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. What's up?
Good evening, Biddy.
How you doing?
I'm broken after that open. Producer does not warn people when they show up. He's like, "Hey, you want to come do this show tonight? All right, I'll do it." And then
you just, and then you like comment on it.
Apparently, the price of ice cream is too damn high.
Yes. Good callback. Oh my God. And then when she said, I bet he can hear me too, I was like, oh, a little gangster over there. I'm telling you, Gen Alpha is going to be something to reckon with. I'm telling you, because they are coming off of the soft generation. And they're looking around and they're going, something ain't right here. They're closer to God. They're like, they're brand new, fresh pair of eyes. And they're like, all right, this ain't working.
They need someone to help them hone it in a little bit. It's like, I feel you. There's a vibe there, but let's clean it up a little bit. Let's keep the energy.
I know the bloody L's were just a bit too much. I was just like,
I wasn't at first. I wasn't reading the subtitles at first, and so I didn't know if it was this kid complaining about preparation H or if it was an accent. And then I realized, oh, that's fun. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, that was great.
Anyway, we're doing fine this evening.
Yes. And welcome to all of you guys. If you want to follow the show, of course, you can do that on X at @therealroma_AK. If you'd like to follow me on X, Elizabeth213. And it's at Skrapp Jaw everywhere. Everywhere.
At Skrapp Jaw everywhere. If I'm sorry if you're playing Arc Raiders and I murk you, it's not because
it's not personal.
It's not personal. I'm just losing trust right now in anybody that's hanging around the exfil at 10 minutes till the end. Okay, campers beware. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, no camping up in here. Nope.
Bad form on the exfil.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta put yourself out there. All right. So what about the first article? Always the thing that's on everyone's lips. And of course, we're talking about Epstein once again. So coming to you from USA Today, Trump says he would sign Epstein files bill if it passes Congress. So with the House of Representatives all but certain to approve a measure this week that would force the Justice Department to release all of its records on disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, President Donald Trump has a sudden change of heart. As we all know, they're referring to, when he kind of like blew it off, I think it was a couple months back now. Trump reversed his position and gave his party permission to back the bill he spent months trying to bury. I love it. And broke with a one-time ally over, saying on Monday that he had, quote, nothing to do with Epstein and telling lawmakers they can do whatever they want. Another quote here, all I want is for people to recognize the great job that I've done, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office, and I hate to see that deflect from the great job that we've done, so I'm all for it. Trump also committed to signing the bill if makes it through the Senate, removing another potential obstacle. The House is expected to vote on this tomorrow afternoon. I think it was just reported about 1:30 p.m. Eastern. It's unclear when or how quickly the Senate would take it up. The president's about face was an acknowledgement of the stark political reality before him. Scores of Republicans were preparing to vote for the bill that would require DOJ to make public every document it has on Epstein and his former girlfriend associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. A discharge position ensuring a House vote received the necessary 218 signatures last week. 4 of the signatories were Republicans. Trump rode on Epstein's plane, was friends with the financier until they had a falling out. The president says he cut ties with Epstein for stealing young female workers from him. The White House says Epstein was banned from Trump's resort because he was a creep. Okay. And then we just actually had a post that said that Speaker Johnson expects that there's going to be some tweaking going on once it gets to the Senate, if it gets to the Senate. So, I don't know. We have, this has been going on for quite some time. I'm starting to feel like everything that they do have in their possession, minus anything that they're saying that they're having trouble getting from the grand jury testimonies, that there really isn't anything there. I could be wrong, but I just feel like they've had it for so many years at this point, and it's been through so many different corrupt hands. I would expect people have taken names out, things out, because so many people flew on his planes. That doesn't necessarily mean that they had anything to do with the trafficking. People have to remember that Epstein was a CIA asset on a level that most people don't really understand. And like his access to resources through Wexner, who's the owner of Victoria's Secret, Hollister, I think Abercrombie and Fitch, I forget which one it was, but those companies even had scandal when it came to the exploitation of their models, especially the male models. Hollister was the one, so that's the one there. So yeah, but Epstein was, and how does this tie into CIA asset? Well, when you're CIA and you're trying to do sketchy stuff, you need resources. Epstein was kind of like a catch me if you can kind of dude. He was a con artist. He worked as a teacher without a license, having convinced the entire school board that he was legit. He was a networker. He knew how to network, and he knew how to leverage relationships with people and get himself in the right spot, be in the right photos. And Ghislaine was the same way. I mean, she got it through that skill set. Now, I'll say this. Some skill sets are inherited by pedigree. Her father was Mossad, and we're not going down that road because the juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one. But anybody out there that wants to go down the rabbit hole of that, you're going to immediately. That's not the point. She was very good. These are skilled individuals at networking, doing intel things, getting resources, and being con artists, and positioning themselves. Obviously, Epstein and Ghislaine are going to be right next to about anybody you can think of. That doesn't mean that those people took the bait. Right. It does mean, though, that there was definitely a superior form of honeypot that was available for people to get caught in. That's probably at best, since Trump is like whatever, because Trump is like he has no. I don't at this point. I don't think that if he was worried that there was something in there, he would. There wouldn't be anything that he wouldn't be saying, "Hey, go do your thing." Fine, release it, whatever. I don't care. Right. Do what you're gonna do. That's the most. Benevolent, or what's the word for it?
Machiavellian.
It's the most charitable form of that. Say, hey, he's finally said give up, because how much lambasting did he get when he tried to say it was like a hoax and he tried to brush it off, and and especially I think that he thought that he had. I'm getting photobombed right now. Go on, I'm live. We love you. Go on. Little scriptlet. Are you going to bed? Nope. Okay. Well, I will come find you when it's time. But yeah, no, it's. I I mean, you could play the devil's advocate all you want. You could say the reason why they didn't
Sorry, my
release
train of
the
thought. Cuteness
Epstein
is the
files
thing.
or anything.
Ryan is happy.
Before, when Biden was in office and they had access, and it could be because it could be, yes, they did have something on Trump, but it would also implicate a lot of their friends, so they kept it secret. But if that is the case, then why now? Why all of a sudden? So my thing is I'm not saying, because we don't know until we know, we keep it kind of open, but at the same time, why all of a sudden are you guys pushing it so hard? And I feel like that there was a lot of things that were planted that were taken out, so that way the context read differently.
It's reasonable speculation, considering that these case files are so old. What Cash Patel was saying about things being sealed and everything that they have available to them being from the previous administration. I mean, how long has it taken us to find out the information about Obamagate, or Russiagate, rather?
Mm-hmm.
And there's still there's still nobody there that's been arrested.
Right.
We have people on record. There is record of people actively lying to FISA courts and fabricating documents against a duly elected president.
Yeah.
And nobody's gone to jail yet. You think you're going to get Epstein files with legitimacy in them? I'm sorry, you're not. It's not happening.
Especially if, okay, so I was listening to the FBI hearing that was released on October 27th of this year. And a couple of things from Representative Thomas Massie, who's been extremely vocal on this topic. And, he brings it up all the time. He's been one of the biggest pushers to, get these files released and the lists released. So he brought out a couple of things. He said he put 4 documents in for the record. He said that Acosta is quoted as saying Epstein belongs to the intelligence and to leave it alone. He also brought a document with Epstein bodyguard warning Epstein connection to the CIA. Jeffrey Epstein 6 story played out for years in plain sight. So like a whole document on that. From Fox Digital, planned meetings with Obama administration officials and CIA chief. There was also a document from Ehud Barak, who's the former prime minister of Israel, from 1999 to 2001. 35 or 36 times they met. So these are things that he's putting into record. There's also, he lists a bunch of people. He said there was like 20 men on the list that he was looking at, one of them being Jess Staley, who is the CEO of Barclays Bank, saying that he trafficked, including, he was part of trafficking, including minors, including the late Virginia Giuffre. I always say her name wrong, and I apologize.
And Virginia is one of the people that has exonerated by her own admission President Trump in the middle of everything that she was going through. She was like, not Trump. At least not in my case. I have no knowledge of that. And redirect. If she was so willing to come out in the open, like, to get attention, don't you think she'd have been calling him out too?
Right, to get some sort of support from the Democrats on this,
or just whatever base that was trying to expose it all. I mean, there's a lot baked in there that doesn't make sense. I think Trump's on a one track. This is my overall. Trump's on a one track. He's trying to do what he wants to do, right? His gut reaction is to talk trash about anybody who is detracting from what his agenda is.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Even at the expense of Massey's wife, late wife, and his new wife, and attacking his character, which is, that makes me so mad. Like,
yeah,
okay, I get it. If somebody like Massey is not out here saying you need to be unelected, you need to be impeached, you need to be all these things, he's not attacking all of this other stuff. He's calling out the things that are principled and representing his constituency, right? He's actually not against Trump. He's for the Republican Party doing right.
Right. I mean,
that's Marjorie as well.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that, listen, I think that we, for a long, long time, have been attacked by the powers that be to dismantle this entire country and make it into, the last leg of the globalist agenda. I really do. I think that they've been working on us for quite some time, and I think that there's a lot that needs to be fixed. And I don't think a big chunk of it is going to get fixed under the Trump administration, because just so much. And especially when you have, judges stopping you at every turn, the media making it look bad, and you constantly have to, defend yourself on it. And you have to, move left, move right, bob and weave in between to get things to pass, to get some solid, charges going on the people that did wrong. But I also think that the whole thing with Epstein, it's not only about the horrific details of what went on. It's also about the deep state. And that's a huge thing for a lot of people, even though you can say all day long that it's like the table stuff that people really care about, which, yes, people that can't pay for their groceries, people can't pay for their rent, insurance premiums are too high, like all of these things. Yes, that is in front and center in a lot of people's heads, but a big thing about why all of these things are the way that they are, why Big Pharma is able to just get larger and larger and larger, all these different like interwoven things that are going on in our country are tied to this whole idea that we have a deep state, a lot of unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions because possibly a lot of them are being blackmailed constantly. So, or trying to hide things. So that's why I think like a lot of people also don't want to say, okay, we can't concentrate on this. We have to concentrate on, other issues. I think most people want to concentrate on everything.
Yeah.
All at once.
Well, it's some people have said, I've heard them say, well, this Epstein thing they think is just a distraction. And it's in a way. Think of it this way: if Trump is so one track that he would just go, you know what, forget that thing. There's no fruit there. If he trusts his guys that he put in place to say there's no fruit there, everything's locked up in court. It's a path of least resistance, of most resistance. If we're going to try to put our efforts into going after people because of the rat's nest that the previous
like move
administration
resources from other things all onto this to actually make it work. Yeah.
Right. So think of Trump like he's a business guy. He runs companies. He wants things to run efficiently, get me the results that make me look good. That's Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which also is not a bad thing, because at the same time, you have to worry about the midterms. You have to worry about what you're delivering to the people, because if you're doing all of these background things, if they don't hit the person's table right before the midterms, people are not going to understand the long game of these tariffs and all this other kind of stuff. But yeah,
we have a shout out, Funkmaster General. I'm trying to, I can't see exactly what it is, but I'm guessing it's a super chat.
Hey, Funk. He looks like he actually gifted 10 Rise of Middle America memberships.
Here you go. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much. Great to see you on
right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's the bomb. So yeah. Trump's a businessman. He's running it like he would run it, but he does listen when things go against him in public opinion. And him taking on Massey and Marjorie generated so much pushback and split in the party that he had no choice but to listen. He did that when it came to pharma and the vaccines at one point. He had to shut up about that.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to hammer on him about certain things. That way, at the very least, he can go, okay, give it to him, do what it takes, whatever. But this is other stuff is our priority right now. Because honestly, is releasing, let's ask from a practical question, right? Is releasing the Epstein files going to fix our country? Are the problems our country is facing?
I think it's just going to create more things that we have to tackle. Because if you think about, like the heads of banking, the heads of music industry, the heads of Hollywood, the heads of this, the heads of that, all of that is going to trickle down into these different industries. And it's going to
All
It's
it's
gonna
going to do is create another massive wave of cancel culture and focus on something that isn't going to fix the underlying problems that are staring us in the face.
and
Things like
that's what they
the pop,
want.
things like the population decline, things like
Mhm.
economic, which is economic in many
Mhm.
ways. Um, there's all the tariff thing. It's another economic thing. Whether or not that's actually working, nobody likes the fact that they're talking about giving us a $2,000 kickback for voting him in. No, we don't want
Mhm.
that. We complained about that with the previous administrations, and the Democrats always dangling stimmy checks in people's faces. That doesn't help the economy. There are other things that are more important right now by objective standards of what our country needs than releasing the Epstein files and creating another firestorm for the media to chase and to distract
Mhm.
the American people by. The people want blood. Some people want blood in the streets right now, and that's one more thing that might give it to them. If we don't have, because honestly, here's what it'll turn out. Say there's a
Mhm.
bunch of names in there, but statute of limitations is gone.
Mhm.
What do
Then
you
what?
think people are going to do? What do you think is going to happen? You think there's not going to be another Luigi Mangione?
Oh my gosh, I was
Do you
thinking
think
that
there's not
name.
going to be more Thomas Crooks and more Robinsons out there? All those guys? Do
Mhm.
you think it's going to help? And you think it won't be a combination of crazies from both sides that taking
Mhm.
matters in their own hands? Because that's legitimately a possibility at this point.
Mhm.
Not that the left isn't heavily weighted on their side with extremist, violent rhetoric, but there are people that are like, I don't care. I will take out any schmetophile that I come across if I need to. Like, there's a
Mhm.
legitimate talk about that, and we have to be careful about.
Especially if they don't think that the FBI or the DOJ are doing anything about it.
Right there. Look, people need to understand that vigilantism is not the answer, and I think the Epstein files may only produce vigilantism and more division and more people go into the streets. I'm not saying keep them sealed forever. What I'm saying is in the moment, the cards to play may not be Epstein files. But if that's what the base wants, that's democracy, baby.
Hmm. And
Unfortunately.
another thing that Rep. Massey said, so he was referring to Cash Patel, who said at a previous hearing that the case files are under constraint and that the non-prosecution agreement constrained future litigations. Those restraints, so he came back, Massey, and said those restraints apply only to the Southern District of Florida. They do not apply to the Southern District of New York. That was the location of the 2019 sex trafficking indictment, which produced kind of like a series of FD 302 documents, which brought out all of these names that he was listing. I mean, he said that the guy from the Barclays, he said a Hollywood producer, a royal prince, which, we probably know who that is.
Andrew.
All right. One high profile individual in the music industry, a very prominent banker, high profile government official, a high profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, a rock star, a magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. So he said, I don't know who these people are because their names weren't there, but these are, kind of written out. And also a lot of this also has to do, like, when you have witness testimony, there also has to be a lot of investigation in their testimony to make sure that it's legit. So when you release a lot of this stuff, they want them to release the grand jury testimonies and all of this stuff. Like, people read this and they're going to read witness testimony, and what if they're saying things that aren't true? Like, not saying that they are, but like, if you're going through these things and reading them without saying, like, looking at how they prove that all of these were correct.
Well, the other thing is you have on that in that point. Here's if we're playing some devil's advocate a little
Right,
bit,
exactly.
right? We're thinking of all the things that aren't being said
Mm-hmm.
out in the public discourse of this. You may have individuals who, in the course of being involved with Maxwell, who is probably who under the guise of talent scouting was procuring young women, beautiful women, for the purpose of the trafficking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times that goes back to Wexner. Victoria's Secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the prospect of being a Victoria's Secret model, maybe some of them were actual Victoria's Secret models. And maybe some of them just didn't get paid what they wanted to get paid and decided that, oh, Wexner and Epstein and all of that, yeah, I've heard stories. I'm going to go cash that check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As much as those guys, those scumbags probably needed to go to prison over those things
Mm-hmm.
instead of get hung in a jail cell, we still cannot prosecute on the basis of false accusation. And so if there's anything that comes out of that where it's just like, this is all like spurious, this person said that, there's not really a thing here, they were kind of like, if it looks
But this
sketchy,
is-
you have to get beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law.
Right.
Otherwise,
Or do you want everything to just crash down? The whole judicial system to just crash down and change the way it is? Because we were talking about this before, how I was like listening to the hearing, right? They asked them questions and then they cut them right off when they're giving an answer. I wish that they were able to give out full-fleshed answers. So like every time, you know, Patel responds and he says, you know, anything that was credible, it was released. So what does that mean to somebody who's listening? Is it because that's your opinion that it wasn't credible, or is it because there wasn't enough evidence to corroborate this witness testimony that you can show?
Yeah. And the real thing I think people start getting on at this point is all of the witness testimony where they, or not witness testimony, but the names of potential co-conspirators that were in the non-prosecutorial agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll bet you that there's some people in there that were close enough to the fire to have, you know, felt the heat, you know, and knew. And maybe there was some people that may have been mandatory reporters. Maybe there's somebody that's like, because they were there and knew and understood the situation, could have been charged by implication, you know, just by being there, which maybe they should, but there were deals made. There was this, that, and the other. There was all kinds of lobbying with lawyers to go in and seal all these files before anything ever became public. Right. You know, there was a lot of effort put into sealing them. So it's not like there isn't something in there, but how much of it is buried in thin evidence, thin testimony, spurious, Me Too. We don't know. We have no idea. That's a Pandora's box that somebody needs to be able to look through and go, okay, what's this really going to do to the public? Me, I'm a fan of ripping the Band-Aid off, but people need to be able to think about this and go, is this worth ripping the Band-Aid off right now? Is it a bullet hole? Is it a bullet wound, or is it a Band-Aid? Is it an infection, or is it like, you know, like what really is this that we're looking at by opening these files? If there's nothing actionable, then there's nothing actionable, and we need to just walk away from it.
That's why I think they're using it as a distraction, because not saying that there isn't anything there, but they'd rather put all the FBI and DOJ's efforts being forced by the public once everything is released towards these files and everybody who's there saying, have you indicted them? What's going on with this guy? Whatever, instead of paying attention to, I don't know, maybe sleeper cell terrorism that's, you know, going on in the country. How much farmland is bought by China? What's going on with Bill Gates? You know, and possibly, you know, spraying chemicals that, you know, only his GMO seeds.
Return of the Frog's Gate.
Yeah, like, right. But like all of this stuff that we're worried about that we really need to pay attention to, because it's just as important, if not more at this point for, you know, because we don't really have a lot of time to get us off this cliff. So I think that, and you see all the mortgage fraud and the insurance fraud that's being brought out. And I think that they want that train to stop, because it's going to implicate a lot of politicians, a lot of really powerful people. That alone, not talking about the Epstein file, talking about all this fraud that's going on in all different aspects and all different institutions. So I think that's why I'm like, why now? Because everybody, that's like the big question. Why now? Why
there's
not
a larger gravy train than trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Because trafficking, and we could do a whole thing on this, and it's probably about time we get to these other stories.
I
But
know.
there's so much to talk about with Epstein and trafficking. I think at this point, because Trump had no interest in releasing the files, and especially once he made a handful of comments of like, this is a Democrat hoax to try to, get me or whatever. And finally was just like tired of hearing about it, which is good because it means at some point Don is listening and people are his advisory staff is like, bro, that bad move. Now we've tried to kick this can one too many times. Someone's poured concrete in it now and rebarred it to the ground. You're going to break your foot on it next time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just put his hands in the air about it at this point. At best,
Yeah.
That's where he's at. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Pretty much, we'll see. They're going to vote on it tomorrow. As I said, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully it get past the House, and then we'll see if it doesn't get chipped away and at the Senate, and then it'll get to the president's desk. And he did pledge that he would sign it. So we'll see.
What we got next?
Yeah. Would you like to take us through this one, Skrapp?
Yeah. So I'm going to read it right off the screen here, Brian, if you don't mind scrolling it for me. So flight reductions at 40 airports were mandated by the Federal Aviation Administration earlier this month are set to come to an end on Monday morning. According to a joint statement from the United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and the FAA Administrator Brian Bedford. Cuts, which began on November 7th, reduced air traffic capacity by at least 4% at some of the nation's busiest airports. As a result, thousands of flight delays and hundreds of cancellations were reported across the country on a nearly daily basis. Quote, the flight reduction emergency order will be terminated on Monday, November 17th at 6 a.m., and this means that normal operations can resume across the national airspace system, the Sunday statement said. Major flight disruptions began to dissipate last week after President Donald Trump signed into law a bill to reopen the government, ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Staffing problems at air traffic control centers across the country also contributed to delays and cancellations, an issue Bedford said is beginning to be resolved. Today's decision to rescind the order reflects the steady decline in staffing concerns across the NAS and allows us to return to normal operations, Bedford said Sunday. I am grateful for the hard work of the FAA safety operations teams and for their focus on safety of the traveling public. The FAA recorded only one staffing issue on Sunday, the statement said, adding, quote, that's in contrast to a record high of 81 staffing triggers on November 8th. So some of the people that are my people I work with that have done some executive traveling in the last few weeks, they've had delays. Some people got back in time, some people didn't, some people to hang around. It's affected a lot of people. That's people are used to so our air traffic systems are on a regular rolling basis. They're like clockwork. There are regular flights that go back and forth to all the major terminals. They have these routes set based on the amount of traffic that, if I say they have a couple of flights that get booked out, and they realize, oh, this data at this time of the year says we need this many flights going from here to here. They make sure that they have planes in order to carry that many people.
Right.
If as the seats run out and the closer you get to your flight time, the price goes up because limitations, they min-max everything. So when you have a shutdown and you have air traffic controllers that say, screw you, I ain't getting paid. If you pay me, like through all of the stuff that they've been through in the last few administrations with them the kind of people they're hiring and the way they've treated them and everything, and then a full-on shutdown. Yeah, I don't blame some of them, but there were ones that went through and worked anyway. They worked overtime and all of it, and the White House gave them bonuses. The government just paid them massively, and it's like, good,
right?
We want meritocracy. Reward the employees that are carrying the load when nobody else will. That's when you'll keep people. And yeah, there's a lot of other contractors and whatnot that ended up having to do work and are without cash, and they're trying to make ends meet, and they've put stuff on credit cards and all of that. That's real too.
Right.
But, at the same time, what's real is all this other stuff. If you go watch the Roman Nation podcast Friday, I talked about this bill opening up and all the other stuff that was in it that we should have talked about, but we didn't. So the FAA thing, that's good. That shows that they're staffed up. There's a lot of catching up to do, but it's not over. We still got January coming, and they're gonna go through it again. Guarantee you.
Shout out to Sarah Risitano. Welcome to Gold Membership, Rising Middle America. Yeah.
The
Thank
Rizzler.
you.
What's up?
Yeah, no, and I agree. I know there were some salties out there that were a little upset that, that these people in the airports got this big bonus. It was like, I think, 10 grand a piece. But like you said, I mean, this is when your airways are congested and people can't get from A to B, and I mean, just forget about, people going on vacation and whatever. But, people were already wherever they were too, and then needed to get home, needed to get back to work, or they need to travel for work, or, some kind of thing where it wasn't just leisure. It was, part of their job, or for other reasons. Maybe, some people lost family members and they had to fly to, the funerals. How many people missed those things? So there was just a lot. So many people in the government that worked without pay. I do feel for them as well, but I think it was a good move that they rewarded these people for stepping up and holding it down, because that's not easy when you don't know when your next paycheck is coming. That's crazy.
And that's a thing to think about when you got government shutdown, or you've got walkouts, or you've got any of that kind of stuff. It's really important to think of it like, who's on staff that's carrying the load, who's in the bad times. Because come January, when the administration can start firing people again,
it's like an Office Space. What is it that you do here?
What do you do here?
Just run through it. Yeah.
Right, except not in a corporate overlordy kind of restructuring way. It's a so you didn't come to work when planes needed to be guided into airports, right? They wanted to blame Trump for the helicopters that crashed, that were military training exercises where they're, doing. It's like, no, most of those crew were hired during different administrations, number one. Number two, where's your outrage now, Democrats? You're the ones that were keeping this government shut down when the Republicans said, here, we're all voting together for this thing, and y'all just want a lot of fluff. Some fluff did get packed in there. There was some quid pro quos. Again, go to Friday, Roman Nation podcast, Rising Middle America podcast, and get the deets on that. We talked about hemp. We talked about over-the-counter drugs. We talked about some of the shutdown things a little bit, because that got a little more traction about why do they have to pay them back pay and all of that. And it's like, well, it's part of the deal. Look at the other stuff that was in there. The DOD got a little back scratch too. There's a lot in there that people just didn't bother talking about. So while the media and the partisan bickering back and forth, it was, filling the air full of garbage, they made some deals. They made actual deals, and some people got what they wanted.
Yeah. It's like, why are they all so, more than likely they're just trying to push agendas, for their respective politicians on both sides. But it's like they wonder, like mainstream media wonders why most people are watching podcasts. It's because people sit there for a couple hours, 2 hours or whatever, and they dig through things and they talk it out, and they talk about what, we'll touch upon things that everybody's talking about, but we'll also try to talk about things that nobody's talking about. And, you can sacrifice that clickbait to get the millions of views to actually have a real full-fledged conversation about the things that actually matter. Not saying the other stuff doesn't, but it's just kind of being drummed over and over, the same topic over and over. Like even when I do my research for, our show, and like I just copy and I put in and I look for different, things, articles or whatever. It's like it's all set, like each one, like the keywords pull up all the same headlines. Everybody's talking about the same thing 2 hours ago, 24 hours ago, update on this. It's like, okay, but what else is going? Anything else? Like, are you guys talking about anything local? Like, your news
Facebook is the
station?
only.
Yeah.
Facebook is if you want local. It's hard to search local on Facebook in other places unless you use a VPN. Facebook like locks you in to your local. When I was in Phoenix visiting family not long ago, I got on Facebook and was looking for all kinds of stuff. I was like, dude, it knows where I'm at. It's going to give me local
creepy
relevant
and cool
stuff
at the same time.
Well,
but yeah.
The other thing that's creepy is when some of us started hanging out through that have met through Discord and whatnot. I'm starting to see them be recommended to me. Facebook is doxing you to your Discord friends because you were in the same area.
Yeah, a lot of the meta stuff does that. Like when you go on Instagram, it'll say like, "Oh, by the way, your friends in your phone are on this app," and it's like, "Get out of my phone!" What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, when I was on Timcast with AK, I had people at work going, "Is that you?" But then again, I worked in a rather based environment, so there's a handful of them that watch, not on the regular, but they so happened to have seen that time, and they were like, "Oh, thought that was you." I was like, "Oh, yep, you know me."
Yeah, it's like it triggered because you're in their phone. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad the government's open, and like you said, it is a negotiation. They have to have some kind of negotiations, no matter how much pull we might have at the moment, no matter how much of slim majority, this majority, that majority, whatever. You still, they didn't get rid of the filibuster, so you still need those votes, and it's going to be a back and forth, and we can't be sitting here months and months and months with a freaking government shutdown, or with figuring out a budget for going forward and actually what that's going to look like, because then you got to wait for them to all come to the table again and let's discuss it and let's have long-term whatever. So, you're just kind of kicking the can down the road. As you said, the Epstein files, it's like the same thing with all of the stuff that's going on, subsidies that are expiring that need to be, looked at before you could say, okay, let's just keep it going the way it is and keep spending, through the nose, everything that we don't have.
Look, yeah, there's everything from corporate welfare to domestic welfare. Like those subsidies are the government paying, like anything that's kind of like insurance, even from like bill sharing to and there's a lot of alternatives that are popping up right now, and I believe that's on Timcast right now. There's a guy over there. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it all after we get done here from the beginning. But I'm in a way, I'm like, yes, tear Obamacare down because the people that wrote it called us stupid to our face. And they told us we had to pass the bill to read the bill. And that was I know that and that was before I was Politico, before I was into this kind of stuff. I heard that. I heard that said. Glenn Beck was kind of my first into this realm. Him and Rush Limbaugh, like about 10, 15 years ago. But it's like, yeah, part of me wants that to go down because I'm supportive of the alternative industry in medicine. You and I've had a lot of those conversations, Betty. That's kind of near to us in a way, so
like you see it from one side, from like the more private, like, whatever. And I see it from the corporate union, largest Medicaid acceptors, Yeah.
Yeah. So. But so we maybe someday we'll get to do a podcast on that. That would be
I know
fun.
we should. It would probably be like 4 hours long. But we'll forget that the audience is there. Just keep talking.
Right. But on the other hand, I'm like, no, there are people that are relying on Obamacare because there is a section of people that need that.
Bingo.
That's all they can get. But at the same time, there's a section of people that don't qualify for it.
You're absolutely right. And you want to know, that's the whole freaking game. That's the whole slick game that gets played, is you get people addicted to a handout, to a subsidy, to a way things are, and they go about their life, they budget their life, they say this is for this is for that, and then somebody comes along and says, all right, well, this wasn't right from the beginning and it's screwing over other people, so we're going to take that from you. Do you think you're going to care about the person that's getting screwed over there? No, you're going to care about what's happening to you. So this is what they do. They get people addicted to these things, so that way, and so much time has passed to where you go, okay, well, now how do we turn backwards? How do we turn this
Yep.
back after years and years and years of people being used to this?
And the insurance companies win when you do this, when you subsidize them, they win. The major healthcare providers out there that are basically cartels in places like Florida. There's one in, I believe it's Orlando, where you have to have a major healthcare provider or a insurance provider, or you can't get healthcare. They won't touch you. You can't even be self-pay, which is what most bill sharing organizations are, or health cost sharing organizations do. So they cartelled it up. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a greasy, dirty, awful business. But
Yeah, and people that have Medicaid, when that bill, when the doctor's office sends that bill to Medicaid, they get a very small percentage of what they're billing. And you can't just pretend, you can't just bill somebody $100 for this and bill somebody else $500 for that so you can get the same amount of money back. No, you're going to get the least amount of money back from these socialist programs, and the people that are paying into the insurance, they're going to fill that gap in by paying high premiums. So like you said, the insurance companies are going to get their money. It's how much of your money is going to be taken versus your neighbor.
And it's the thing that causes the cost to rise. Health insurance, anything you subsidize will go up in price because it's a guaranteed payout for the people providing it most of the time.
Yep.
Most of the time. And unfortunately in healthcare, it's the insurance companies, not the providers generally. And so the providers have to jack their prices up. Next time you go into a new provider and you have to have a service that you can pay for potentially, or maybe you don't think you can pay for, don't immediately say you have insurance. Say you're self-pay. And then later, if you want to add insurance, go for it. But be careful. I just saw where a guy was complaining on like a TikTok or something saying, how is it that my ambulance bill that was like $1,200 was instantly $6,000? They found out that he had insurance.
Oh boy.
And it wasn't that it was like $6,000 total and the health insurance was going to pay a big portion of it. It was like, no, that was his portion.
Oh, yikes.
Or something like that. It was ridiculous. Yeah. His portion with insurance was more expensive than him just paying it out of pocket. He's like, what if I just pay you guys straight cash? They're like, nope, you have insurance. We can't change it now. They have a policy. They want to scrape you. They want to scrape you every way they can.
Hey, by the way, thank you, Funkmaster General, once again for gifting 5 more memberships. You are a G.
You. All right.
Thank you so much.
We may only have a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
So we're going to get on to one that won't take much. How much time do you think this one will take? Oh, wait. Oh, wrong one. This is not yet. Not yet. I don't have this one on my tabs. Anyway, Starmer, we're talking about the UK. This is our international. All right.
All right. So from The Guardian, Starmer facing fresh challenge as Labour MPs condemn asylum plans. We talked about this last week as he was getting some pushback from his own party. Keir Starmer is facing another major challenge to his authority as angry Labour MPs vow to force changes to new hardline migration measures that would bring an escalation in the deportations of children and families. And, you know, the fathers as well. The policies, which include the possibility of confiscating assets from asylum seekers to contribute to costs, have caused significant divisions inside the party, with some MPs accusing their colleagues of not taking seriously public anger about illegal migration and asylum. The Conservatives have said they could support the government to pass the tough new laws in the event of a major Labour rebellion. The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has outlined a number of radical measures, including how the government will attempt to change the way the European Convention on Human Rights is interpreted by UK judges in an attempt to stop asylum seekers using their rights to a family life to avoid deportation. Policies included consulting on enforcing the removal of families, including children who have been refused the right to settle in the UK and have refused payments, encouraging them to leave. There is a lot going on in the UK right now. There is a ton of protests. I mean, violent ones as well, that are, basically, in like riot mode.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty black pilled on the UK right now, but continue.
No, yeah, no, well, so basically, I think what's happening here is because no matter what kind of party, see, I'm not well abreast of UK politics and how it all works. It's different than how it works here, and I'm not fully abreast of how the heck it works here as well. But I know, like, when your party wins, your party is kind of like the strength in Parliament. It's kind of like it's the labor union. Like, that's the one who won. He was the representative. He's the prime minister. So they have like a lot more pull. But you also need to have some kind of consensus with the other parties. You have to get their agreements to certain things. You have to have them sort of on your side. So if your party starts to push things too radical, then you're going to start having unrest in the streets no matter what. And Parliament, people, they're going to say, okay, something needs to change here. What's happening? And then you're going to have the people that are pushing the radical stuff, just kind of like how it is here, saying, no, we need to push harder, and then pulling on heartstrings of the reason why we shouldn't regulate, the asylum program, or, kind of curb migration and things like that, and figure out like how many people have come in here, and should they be allowed to stay? Do we have the resources to take care of them? So I think he's kind of battling with that. I mean, he's flopping on a lot of things, with the economy, taxes going up. There was a lot of like taxes that were implemented on the employers, which, kind of brought up unemployment. And, so that's happening as well. So there's a lot going on. But, migration seems to be the mass migration, especially in Western civilization, is just, that's on everybody's mind. I think, especially in areas where they feel like their culture is being destroyed and kind of pushed aside for like the new cultures that are coming in.
I don't always remember. Is Ireland still a part of the UK? Is that, or are they their own thing?
I believe they are.
Correct me on that, because I want to include that in the conversation.
Northern Ireland is part of the UK, and the rest is part of its own country.
Right. Okay. So across Ireland, we know that there's a lot of unrest. So I can't remember if this is Northern Ireland or not, but it might be. There have been people that own bed and breakfasts, like big B&Bs, where they have lots of it's like a little mini hotel with kitchenette and all that, all the nice things, old school bed and breakfasts. They've been offered lots and lots of money to turn them into basically refugee camps. Just shut your business down. I'll buy it for all this money. And some of them have taken it. Like people that own these old stone buildings, these really cool old, like, I don't know, think of anything out of like some
like medieval times or something like
either
that.
Anywhere from medieval on up through like 1800s, of like these big stone buildings that have, it's like a tavern where you can go in, you can get a room and all that kind of stuff,
Walk in and feel the history.
Yeah, some of those old buildings, but people are being offered a lot of money for them to turn them into B&Bs. Sometimes they're like, you run it, but I'll pay you this money to do this, or I'll buy it from you, one of the two. And some of them are like, no, I'm doing that because this is a staple of our community. My bed and breakfast is here to service my community and our visitors. People that are here that want to pay for a room, they want to get food, they want to have be served in our accommodations.
Tourists that come here that want to go into these places,
right?
Yeah.
So there's a concerted effort to strip, for all those lefties out there that are so concerned about the native population of anywhere, you know, nobody colonized Ireland. All right. Ireland has been Ireland as long as Ireland has been Ireland. Okay. You know, I mean, and so if anything, this is a kind of colonization of the West from all these, and they're exploiting this asylum system.
Mm-hmm.
And the Muslim imams have been open about it. Even the more radical ones are like, we'll come to your country, we'll exploit your laws, we'll have our kids, and we'll take over. We'll
We'll
outbreed
outbirth
you.
you. Yeah, exactly. It's true.
You know, I mean, there's no conspiracy there when they're saying, they'll do it, and they're very patient about it.
Especially when the government will tax you and pay for them to have their children there, pay for their benefits and all this other kind of stuff. It's really like a hard slap or punch in the face. It's the most egregious thing I've ever seen. When it comes to something like this, is like you have no, especially with taxes, you have no choice. It just comes right out. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's sad. It's sad to see, and that's why I'm black-pilled about the UK right now. Is because it keeps on going, and for them to say now, oh, we're going to try to take assets from asylum people who have been here that have made their lives and their families, is that fair either? Like, you've allowed this, you've made this decision to let them be there.
Again, the same argument that I brought up about the Obamacare. You get people used to something, you let them live in it for years and years and years, one day after one day, hour after hour, in a certain way, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, party's over, now we're gonna have to right all the wrongs.
Right. It's like a day late and a dollar short.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they love it too. The infamous they love it because it creates civil unrest, which distracts from what they're actually trying to do.
Yeah.
Because everybody starts fighting, and until people say, okay, it's you guys, you are doing this to everybody. Like, we can all, stay together and talk about this and say, but see, and I think that it's also crazy because we talk about who is going into these countries, and these are Muslim. A lot of them come from Arab countries, and they're hardcore Muslim, and they have their belief system in Sharia law and like the different ways that they live their life. No, even the smallest things like gambling and all that kind of stuff. And they come in and little by little they say, well, that's not right, that goes against everything, whatever. But then as they kind of weed out, get into the government, buy things, they get more of a voice in the community, then it becomes, well, now you really don't have a leg to stand on, so now I can dictate to you that my religion is the right religion and you're going to follow it. So that's also happening. So it's like, even though I feel bad for the people that they're getting their asylums revoked, it's also kind of like it's a double-edged sword, because I'm like, they're not trying to assimilate though. So we're over here like, I feel bad, I do. But at the same time, like, you're not even trying to assimilate here, you're trying to take over.
There's a culture vacuum in liberal society. I've gotten into some really terse arguments with people in the Discord that misunderstand me on the issue of the West not being Christian anymore. And they want to say, and we had a little conversation pre-show about a lot of Christians claiming to be Christian, people claiming to be Christian, but behaving in ways that are unbecoming thereof. And they fight culturally. We're co-belligerents against the left and all of their policies and the things that have resulted in another Abrahamic tradition coming in that has its very strongly held beliefs, dogmas. Where are ours? Where are the Christians with their strongly held beliefs?
Where's our hard lines?
Where's our hard lines? There are none anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come at me saying we're a Christian nation in the United States. We have a Christian form of government, but we don't have a Christian people anymore. And as the founders had said between Adams and Madison, under any other people, it is wholly unfit. So we have a cultural, moral vacuum from the liberals saying, let's coexist with everybody.
Mhm.
And we have another people who have a very strongly held set of systems and beliefs, and they are willing to impose them when given opportunity. Where's our spine?
Yep.
That's the short version of there's your scrap rant for the evening, producer Brian.
No, and it's true. And listen, if you, God says we're not perfect, right? We're all with sin. That doesn't necessarily mean, you can just go out and sin every day, all day, and just say, well, we're with sin, so it's fine. I'm going to be sinful today. I just know I am as soon as I open my eyes. So I might as well just let it rip. Like you should strive to be as Christ-like as you possibly can. If you're going to claim to be Christian. And if you're just like laissez-faire about certain things when it suits you, and then be strong-willed against your neighbor because what did Jesus say is like, if you would know better than me because I can't quote the Bible, but like, if you have something in your eye, you trying to point out something in your neighbor's eye, look to your
don't
own
try
eye.
to pull the 2x4. He said, don't. Why are you trying to pull the plank out of your neighbor's eye or the splinter out of your neighbor's eye when you've got a plank in your own? It's a hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got bigger problems to deal with than bickering with these people. Like in Corinthians, Paul says, get the sin out from amongst yourselves before you start calling out the rest of the world.
Right. And because that's the smallest way for all of us to be as Christ-like as we possibly can if we stay inward. I mean, yes, minister to others and share the good word, but also if you're constantly looking at everybody around you and not yourself, and everybody's doing that, then everybody's falling short all day long.
We've got Protestant Christian, non-Mormon pastors out there promoting polygamy now. It's what? All right. I'm going to get on a whole other rant. We're going to turn this podcast upside down if we keep on this.
I know.
I have some personal theories that are on a more theological level as to why. There's some other things I won't get into here, but the functional truth of it is we have lost our moral ground, and there is a moral vacuum that is allowing this other moral standard, this other culture.
When you have a void, something will fill it.
Because if you don't institute a culture, if you don't make a culture happen, which the left doesn't have one, they've just said we don't want all this this Christian fundamentalism, all this overbearing, blah blah blah. Which there is some legitimate critique there.
Mm-hmm.
With how some of the previous generations have corrupted it, the prosperity gospel stuff. There's a huge falling out with the prosperity gospel people now these days. However, we should have never lost the foundations. We should have reformed. We should have started calling it out from inside the church first, just like Luther did, like Erasmus, like Tyndale, and all of those, and Polycarp, all the guys that got burned at the stake by the church. We should have been calling it out like them and played the man. But here we are. That's all right. Scrap rant part 2 done.
I knew what I was doing when I pulled out the scripture, even though I fall short, but I knew you'd fill it. But yeah, no, it's true. I mean, listen, you want to talk turkey or no? I mean, we got Thanksgiving coming up. You really want to talk turkey?
We need something to be grateful for. Let's
go.
Perfect segue.
All right. Oh boy, yes. Okay. Would you like to read this one, Scrap?
Yeah, give me the honors there. I'm going to read the top here, and then we'll head to the meats of this.
Okay.
Hopefully there's potatoes at the end. An Indiana homeowner charged with manslaughter in killing a house cleaner who went to the wrong address. Maria Florinda Rios Perez, 32-year-old Guatemalan immigrant, was killed on November 5th after she mistakenly went to the incorrect home in the Indianapolis suburb of Whitestown. Oh, come on. That subheadline is just absolute bait for the left. Wow. Whitestown? I'm going to sip on that one.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like you can't make it up.
No, you can't make this up. Indiana homeowner was charged in a connection with a fatal shooting of a house cleaner who arrived at the wrong address before she was gunned down outside the front door, authorities said on Monday. Kurt Anderson, 62, was taken into custody and was being held without bail on Monday, booked on one count of voluntary manslaughter, jail records showed. Anderson, quote, did not have a reasonable belief that the type of force was necessary given all the facts, end quote, Boone County prosecutor Kent Eastwood told reporters. Eastwood acknowledged that Indiana has strong protections for self-defense, but said that those protections did not apply in this instance. It's vitally important for the citizens of Boone County to understand that our decision today is in no way should be interpreted as a challenge to Indiana's stand your ground law, a person's right to self-defense, Eastwood said. That's a great name for a sheriff. Is that a sheriff, right? Or Boone County?
Oh, I think that was the prosecutor, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Either way, Clint Eastwood was definitely, judge and jury and prosecutor all the same in many of his roles. Okay, so we respect those laws, believe in those laws, and will uphold those laws. Based on the particular evidence and circumstances of this case, we have determined that Kurt Anderson's actions do not fall within the legal protections provided by the Indiana Stand Your Ground law. In the end, Eastwood said his office decision to charge Anderson was clear-cut. Quote, honestly, it wasn't, and I hate to sound cavalier about this, but it was not a hard decision, he said. I mean...
She was killed right in front of her husband, too.
Yeah, Marina Florinda Rios Perez, 32, Guatemalan immigrant, was killed on November 5th after she and her husband mistakenly went to the wrong home in anticipation of a day's work as house cleaners in the Indianapolis suburb of Whitestown. She was shot in the head and died in the arms of her husband, Mauricio Velasquez, according to the charging document and family members. Perez had 4 children, ages 11 months all the way to 17. Tragic. It's no different than the guy that shot those kids in cold blood in Texas for ding dong ditching.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot you can't do this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of boldness that I think gun owners like to talk trash and say, yeah, you come on this property, blah, blah, blah. And you end up having a stochastic murder. Statistically speaking, you're going to have somebody were they...
I don't even think they entered the home. I mean, they literally just rang the bell, and maybe they gave a little pushback, and maybe they didn't understand a little bit, and it was kind of like I'm speculating entirely, but I'm just saying, like, maybe they came to the door and they said, we're here. No, but we have this, we were told to come here. No, maybe there was kind of like a little bit of a back and forth, and then he got like heated. But what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
And I see a lot of this on Facebook, a lot of talk that would lead to this kind of stuff. A lot of times you'll see people posting Ring doorbells or Reolink camera footage of, kids coming up on their doorstep doing dumb stuff or stealing things. And then you'll have inevitably people in the comments. And it's like, do you want local PD and the sheriffs to check your Facebook history?
Mm-hmm.
When you do something stupid and you shoot somebody's 12-year-old. Now,
Yeah.
if that 12-year-old kicks your door in at 2 a.m, there's a different story. That's forced entry. That's grounds for, that's, you don't know. When people are in the dark, and I can go back to the Old Testament on this one. I did a whole talk in my church about it, like a little 5-minute thing about the different types of homicide that are acceptable by a moral standard. And one of those is if somebody's trespassing in the dark and you don't and they're attempting to dispossess you, or maybe you don't understand their intentions. That's what it is. That's what it was. If you can't ascertain their intentions in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is if you let the sun come up on their dead body, now you're in trouble and the blood's on your hands.
Hmm.
Like, that was the Old Testament standard. Now, is it a perfect standard for today? You know, and no, but it was the example of what was done then. And the moral there is you have to be honest about what's going on. You know, you can't fly off the handle and just kill somebody to kill somebody. You
And
know,
then
you
try to
can't.
say self-defense later or
Right. There are cases of
trespassing.
guys who have had their houses busted into multiple times, and then they set a trap. They said, I'm tired of getting busted into. They set a trap. They lured them into a basement. They were waiting.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I mean,
bad
because
things happened. And
yeah.
you can't do that. That
Yeah,
is
like
not yours
you're
to
like
do.
technically the lawn in front of you is your property, right? Like once you get on the sidewalk, then now that's city property, but on your like lawn. So what if like a little, so if you're gonna have this standard where you say anybody comes on my property, they're gonna regret it. Like what if some kid is being a kid and being dumb and just like walking, you know, whatever, and they stumble onto your grass? Does that mean like, okay, now I can shoot them because they're technically on my property? Like this,
Right.
you know, like you because now it's going to make it seem like this is going to give the people that are trying to take our right to protect ourselves away, it's going to give them an argument of saying that there's too many people out there that are too trigger happy, because I already see in the comments
Read my subtitle of
why
for
we
the
can't
night.
have nice things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why we can't have nice things. I was kind of one of those, like, you know, I was trying to half reference myself just because I like a self-deprecating title for my usually, but at the same time, it's kind of a thing that always comes up in these circumstances, and I usually call it out. It's why we can't have nice things. When you don't exercise your rights or with a responsible
Like
motive,
respect your rights as well. Yeah.
right? You don't deserve your rights being respected when you disrespect others with them. Generally, in ways like, I'm not saying you can't say mean things. You know, your right to free speech gets abused too. And I still disagree. Even though people can get away with it legally, I think it's abhorrent that people use their free speech in ways that are unbecoming of, you know, polite company. I understand when people do. I'm guilty of it myself from time to time. But when matters are on the line, and there's something of substance that needs dealt with, you cannot fly off the handle. You can't go off half-cocked, you know?
Or full cock.
You can't. I mean, well, going off half-cocked is a reference to old flintlocks, right? So half-cock is where you have a hair trigger set up on it, right? That thing goes down, it's going off. You can't bump that trigger at a half. If you go to the full, now you've got a full. Now you have to, but you can half cock it, and it'll. At least that's what I believe. And I'm looking at Brian, and the thing is like, am I wrong? It's something. It's something about flintlocks, right? I know that's what that is. There's something there with that. He's nodding now. Okay, I got it halfway right. Anyway, you still can't do that. You know, you can't have a negligent discharge. You can't have a negligent state of mind that causes you to do things irrationally and causes the rest of us to lose our rights or things to be infringed upon us. This is why red flag laws end up becoming a thing. And this is why you have due process that ends up getting trampled upon and all of that stuff. You have to exercise with responsibility, and not everybody does. And now this is going to be another thing that people are going to talk about. But the white pill in the whole gun discussion is that state after state after state has instituted some form of shall carry or shall issue for carry or full constitutional. Like we have an exponent. It's like almost every other year you have another state or two that does it. So gun rights are increasing. There are many things that are happening in courts to fight against, but when you have things like this, it just fuels the fire for people to bicker and say, this is why we shouldn't have guns around and you should only blah, 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 and this and that. And, you know.
Why don't you go take a train in the UK and then come back and let me know how you feel about that?
Take a train in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
for real. Yeah.
Like, we chuckle out of as a
delirium.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's sad. This lady that didn't deserve that. There's a family without a mom, and
No, definitely not.
the guy's going to prison justly.
Yes.
So from us as the gun toting, case clutchers, we're here to say, you know what, that's a bad thing.
Mhm.
We're not absolutists, and he definitely should be dispossessed of his firearms for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, we can go hours and hours and hours. Listen, you guys, I've had conversations with Skrapp at like 2 a.m. that have gone for 4 hours. So if you want to have conversations like this, pretty much join the Discord and come hang out with us, because there's no time clock on that one. And you guys can hang out with us all night and have these philosophical and theological and all these other kind of jiggles conversations. Is it that time yet, boss? Oh, we got one more. All right.
We got one more. This one, speaking
This
of government overreach, this one might be one.
This, I can't with this, because when he put it, I couldn't believe this actually came up on the outline. And this is how you know that our producer's got his finger on the pulse, because the kids are talking about this. This is crazy. So from the New York Post, elementary students given, and he's an old man. Yes, he's reminding me. Elementary students given tickets by cops for saying 6'7". These cops have their number. Police in Indiana are issuing tickets to elementary school students caught saying 6'7", the nonsensical viral slang term kids seemingly can't stop saying. Have you guys in the chat, have you heard of this before? The 6'7" craze amongst the youngsters?
Only about 6 or 7 times.
Oh, maybe that. Very good. And I had to look it up to like see what the background is, because I've heard people say this over and over again, and I'm just like, I've never like checked to see what it was. The Tippecanoe, I don't know how to say that, Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Office posted a cheeky video. Oh, all right. Showing deputies handing out fake tickets to students at a local school cafeteria and classrooms for violating a purportedly new 6'7" ordinance, which they joked was passed to keep parents sane. It is now against the law to use the words 6 and 7 unless using them in a math problem or someone's age, a deputy tells a girl at her desk in the clip. But the students seemed unbothered and continued shouting the seemingly inescapable phrase while making the accompanying hand motion even after their ticket. Here's a quote: "We appreciate the support as our school resource officers work tirelessly to keep parents sane during this time," the sheriff's office said, adding that they handed out as many of the citations as possible. 2 students are shown giving the officers a box of donuts. Is that misspelled donuts, or is that another word?
Donuts. Donuts.
What is going on out here?
Nuts.
Some of their 6'7" violation. The term 6'7", pronounced 6'7" rather than 67, has become an inescapable Gen Alpha obsession, driving parents and teachers nuts. But as frustrating it may be, the sheriff's office assured that the law was fake and the tickets were just for fun. While the exact origin is unclear, it spread initially thanks to the Skrilla song Doot Doot 6'7", but appears to be essentially meaningless. Even dictionary.com admitted as much when it sparked outrage last month by declaring 6'7" the word of the year. Perhaps the most defining feature of 6'7" is that it's impossible to define, the website explained. It's meaningless, ubiquitous, and nonsensical. So apparently it came from a song. Something happened with somebody, a sports guy, athlete or whatever, where I think that he did the song something, and like you were saying before, it's kind of like they'll do this kind of like motion. Will they say 6'7" is kind of like this or that kind of thing? But it's just kind of like one of those things where it's just like these kids are just adopted it and just will say it as kind of like an inside joke around their parents, and the parents will be like, "What is that? What is that? What are you saying?" And they'll just keep saying it to like torment them.
My sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, they're educators out west, and they've figured out how to get the kids to stop.
How?
They use it. They troll their own students with it.
Make it not cool, like
right? Because it's cringe when old people do it.
Right.
right? And they're like, stop saying that. And it's like, oh,
It's
you
weird
get
when
it
you
now.
say it.
It's
Yeah.
cringe, right? No, so it's funny. I got my boy on it. He was on Xbox one night, and actually, I was with my sister and my brother-in-law, and he was on Xbox. I could see it on my phone, and I was like, I got him. I got his number now, and so I got on there, and I asked him a math problem. I was like, "What's blah 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 blah," and I knew the answer was 6 7,
Yeah.
and he was like, 67. He wrote 67, the 6 and 7 together, and he was like, "Why?" And I went, and I typed and emojis with it. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, shut up!" Like, so I got so it was it's one of those, like, you have to, if you lean into it with them, it totally destroys it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's even better because it means nothing, and that's the way they use it on us.
It's kind of like that game, like the what do you call it, the mimic game, or like where you'll say something and your kid will like repeat what you say, like the repeat game, and then if you do it back to them, you kind of get them to stop.
Right.
Like if you start like mimicking their movements and their body, and you start sounding like them and stuff, then it's not cool anymore. Then you kind of flip the script on them a little bit.
Right. Now, as I've learned some of the newer slang, and being on Discord and on the internet, you do a little bit, and having kids, you learn them. It's like, I'll use them straight in context. I don't always go too far. A lot of times I'll say it, I'll use it ironically and unironically at the same time with them. Just to kind of poke fun. Like, when I know I'm gonna land it and get my point across, I'll use it I'll use that language at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
like we were adolescents at one point too. You don't think we could play this game like all day?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, or like sometimes, like if he grabs the last Oreo, I'll call him a big back. Like, I'll just lean into it a little bit. Like, big back, leave some for the rest of us.
That's great.
But it become what I tried to do, though, is not like troll him so hard that it's like, oh, Dad's being cringe. It's like, no, it's one of those fun things where I try to, engage with him on it, and not in a, even if it is a little cringe to him, it's like, oh, Dad actually used it the way it was supposed to be used,
and you're paying attention to him.
It's like, I get it.
Good.
Not all of it, right? But anyway, that's kind of fun. I think them doing like a fake law and like giving out tickets and then the kids giving them donuts back makes it Donuts. Come on, New York Post.
Yeah, this is why I love the New York Post. I mean, listen, you could pluck things out and whatever and say this or that, like, they're leaning this way or that way, but this is why I love the New York Post, because they always have stories like this where it's just like out of left field, and it's just local, put a smile on your face, or local something that people are doing. Like, they reported on that kid in Long Island that opened the burger joint, that he gives all the proceeds to veterans and stuff like that. I mean, like, that's the kind of stuff that I love to hear about. So this is really cute. This is adorable. But is it that time? Is it bump time? Is it caption this time? All right. Oh no, it's 6 7 on the block. That's great. All right, you guys. So this is Caption. This is the game that we play at the end of every Sunset Ranch show. We give you an artificially generated image, and we ask you, the audience, to please participate. Give us a funny caption. The funniest one will win after Skrapp and I will vote at the end. So let her rip. And there is the lore of Sunset Rants now that's generating is there's an instant win condition if you can get closest to the prompt. So if you could think about what the prompt is, but also make it funny, you might have an instant win there too. It's crazy how you can read what that says, right? Remember when you couldn't read the stuff?
Right.
Really good at the hands too. Like, the hands are still a little weird, but they're getting good at that. You know, that would be kind of a cool deep dive as well.
I'm gonna just put mine in the chat on YouTube, and I'm gonna wait because I don't want
no.
I don't want to trigger the instant win yet, because I know this is good. So be on notice, chat. This one.
Dougie says the last time the Raiders were good. Oh man, Doug, that's rough. I agree, Funk. Long Island peeps are the best. Duck season, Webbit season, duck season.
Duck season.
You actually said that. Mama. It's not cheese.
It's
Don't eat that.
Oh man, this one's good.
I mean, that's all I can come up with.
Anybody, come on.
I'm like patiently waiting for it to pop up on the screen. Thank you, Brian. Oh man, Hardy says checking radioactive rocks during shutdown and can't afford a face shield. That's rough. Plop, drop, and roll.
Oh. Hardy.
Hardy hard.
They're not gonna let that one live down. You gotta watch Friday. You gotta watch Friday night. We talked about things on Friday night. Our first segment was about the reopening bill, and the second one was about abortion. And I made a joke. I made a joke about
I get it now.
and about Planned Parenthood, and you have to go watch it in context. You won't. Yeah, it's just. Come on. I said things. I came a little bit out of pocket for that one.
What if Sarah said send nudes?
Oh.
I'm so mad I missed that. I was telling them I was laid up. I pulled something in my back. It's like one of those things, whenever you pull something, you always wonder if you're ever going to get better. You're like, I'm just gonna succumb to this, and hopefully after a few days it's better.
I said earlier, tell the old man quit beating you up.
I know. Gotta work on that.
What was that with the Funk Master said at the end? I've got the YouTube up. I don't have the.
I do too, but how come it's not coming up on my YouTube chat? That's so weird.
Go to the top and hit live where it says top chat. Switch it to live chat. There it is. Now I didn't see it either. Join Space Force, they said. In 2030, the reason the world was a sandy wasteland was discovered by Mohammed Smith. Oh. There better be a Stargate under here. I appreciate that one. There's a callback.
Join Space Force, they said. That's funny.
I am a Stargate fan. I like Stargate.
Me too. Me too. I really, really like that movie. I'll watch it all the time.
Oh, it got reset when I switched it to top chat.
How are we supposed to pee in this thing?
How are we supposed to? Let me. Oh, hold on. I'm in the wrong account. I don't want to.
It's so weird because I don't see Funk's comment in the live feed on my phone, but I've seen it
On YouTube. If you go to on your phone, you have to switch it from top chat to live chat, and then you'll see all of it.
Oh, live chat. I don't know. Maybe if I just like X out and go back in. We'll do it live.
Here we go.
You're seeing? I'm not.
There it is. I had to retype it. Open to Stargate on Alpha Centauri. Because 6-7 is Gen Alpha.
Nice. Behold the Epstein files.
6-7. How many names are on that list? 6-7.
6 or 7,000.
What? How many files or how many names are on the Epstein list? Behold the Epstein files.
If I get eaten by a
that's a good troll. I like that. Don't worry, mine wasn't meant to win.
Aw, fuck. I'm just mad. I hate when those stupid things don't work properly. It drives me crazy. All right, so right now, let me see. I like the join Space Force, they said, and I do like the Behold the Epstein files because I love it when it's like something that has to, when it pertains to like the show, like a callback. Behold Funk Master General's submission. The last time the Raiders were good, that was adorable.
67.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That sucks.
That's savage.
I know. Okay, so we're in need of a vote, chat. 1 in the chat for join the Space Force, they said, and 2 in the chat for Behold the Epstein files. Do your civic duty and vote, you guys. Help us out. Found the mile marker. Only 67 to go. I know there's going to be some kind of stupidness that happens in the Senate if it passes the House, and it's going to be a back and forth. I just know it. It's like I get blackpilled with all of this stuff, this legislation getting passed. Any of it. It just drives me crazy. This is a tough one to call, I know. Yeah, I wish.
1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 3 for 2. 2 for 1.
2 for 1, 3 for 2.
Right now, the Epstein files are winning.
You said a mouthful there, buddy.
Best game of hide and seek ever played.
All right. All right, Funk came in with the 2. All right, I guess that's it. Behold the Epstein files is the winner. Congratulations, Sarah.
Ding, 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 ding.
We need soundboard so we can have like a something celebratory something. It puts the lotion on its skin.
All right.
Great job, you guys. Oh, sorry, Hardy. Funk is a team player. Yeah. No, great job. Great job, all of you guys. I love this. It's so awesome. Well, thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with us. Of course, we do this 4 nights a week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. And we got a whole bunch of other shows, you guys. And that's why you should go to riseofmiddleamerica.com, which is our big, beautiful website. And you'll see all of the latest episodes that we got. You get all access to our socials and everything. You can join the Discord from there. If you want to support the show, of course, you can buy merch. I think that's the best way to do it, or they have the PayPal link there. But you could just go in there, search around, hang around. We got the drive-in. We got Roman Nation right after FAFO Friday. So it's like a whole Friday extravaganza. You got FAFO for 2 hours talking about stuff that's not for YouTube. So definitely check that out. And
Rumble
then
only. Those guys are wild and crazy and off the chain.
Right. And then right after, you got Skrapp and AK breaking down a whole slew of different things. As he said, they were talking about abortion and all of that, which I have to watch. I haven't watched the episode yet, so I gotta check that out.
There's some takes on there, and you'll be proud of me, Biddy. I kept it dialed in.
I love how you were about to say something, and then you were like, wait, let me just be a little more honest.
He knows me.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the integrity, Skrapp.
I kept dialed in.
Nobody's asking you to dial down Skrapp Rants. Nobody. So rant.
They gave me the whole opening segment to rant about the things in the bill of open government.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "This one's mine." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh,
okay.
man.
Let me just take my dirty sock off and stuff it in my mouth, so that way I don't speak out of turn.
I gotta do a deep cleaning or something this weekend, so I'll probably throw that on while I'm cleaning, because I know it's gonna get
your dirty socks.
Yeah, my dirty socks. Yeah, I gotta scrub. I need the push. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This was awesome. Hopefully we can lure you on here a couple more times. Maybe next time after that.
It's starting to rotate me back in on these weekly shows. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's nice doing them where things are just kind of like, this is kind of what's going on. Here's some thoughts on it. Stuff that's not necessarily in the full zeitgeist. But looking at a lot of content topics that I'm seeing people talk about on Facebook. Like there's a lot of AI slop on Facebook, so you kind of have to meh. But when it comes to issues that are locally being spoken about but are nationally, important, that maybe are resonating across the board, we might talk more about some tax stuff again here soon. We might talk about some education stuff.
Oh yes,
and the both of them together because of property taxes, and a lot of states are removing that from being able to fund, schools with it. Some states have it considered constitutionally illegal, so
wow.
But are continuing to use property taxes, and senior citizens that are being forced out of their homes, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things in this next year that are going to happen in this midterm, and we're going to try to hit on some things that are going to probably try to get buried in it. A lot of people don't want to talk about. Some things people are going to want to talk about. And then when I say they, I mean like media, some of the politicians, talking heads that are going to try to drive conversations in ways that they want it to go for the benefit of,
whatever agenda they're trying to push.
Agendas and things and partisan stuff.
God forbid you talk about other things.
God forbid.
Right. Yeah. No.
But
this is why we love the support from you guys, because we're really, really trying to do something here. So we appreciate you guys showing up, and you guys that are gifting memberships, funk, stuff like that. I mean, even just showing up and hitting like and subscribe and sharing it with your friends and stuff like that. I mean, all of that is just incredible.
From time to time, we like to go places. If it's something that's like Springfield, I got to go follow up on last year when that was a big thing. People in the Discord they cash at me. It's like, you need gas, food, stuff. Like, we don't care. We want to support you in it. We don't want you to have to worry about being there and getting around. It wasn't this year. I was early. It was because we're about the end of the year.
It's crazy, right?
Wow,
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're closing up on it. Last episode of Rise of Middle America podcast is this Friday, and then we have holiday. So we're gonna try to wrap the year up with something that's gonna give you something to
chew on.
Trigger your Auntie Karen at Thanksgiving with.
Yeah, get your binders out.
Get your
and
binders
your highlighters.
out, and your highlighters and.
Give you some ammo for the table. I know but this is what happens every time we talk. We forget sometimes where the heck we are, and then we can go for hours talking about everything.
But
fun, anyway,
though.
It's good. This is why we're podcasters.
My name is Skrapp Jaw, and this is why we can't have nice things. Find me anywhere you can.
Yes.
I'm out.
And I'm Biddy, Elizabeth213A. Love you guys. Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.